Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna and I am a second year med student. Right now, I'm actually in dedicated studying for step 1. And you might be wondering, Joanna, if you're studying, why are you filming? Well, today is my half day off and I did my makeup and figured out how to get light in my room. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna film a video because I miss it. Also, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think I got 5 more subscribers and I felt really happy about that. And I really wanted to just post some videos. I realized that a lot of you guys are high schoolers who are looking to apply to my program and programs like mine. So I'm trying to cater my videos to you guys, but also broaden. So I hope you guys would just suggest what you want to hear from me. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience as in a BSMD program. So being in a BSMD program, I started medical school at 21, and there's a video on that if you want to see that. So I started medical school at 21, and medical school is much different from college. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences. I don't want this to be too much of a long video because I personally think that everyone's experience is different, so whatever I say probably won't change anything that occurs to you or happens to you, and it shouldn't hinder your decision to go to a program like mine or not. But yeah, it was in my little plan notebook to film this video last year when I originally finished M1 first year, so I might as well do it now since I'm excited to film again. So I want to split this up into 3 sections. If I'm looking down, it's because my script is right here in front of me. 1, academics, 2, mental health, and then 3, emotional. So first, academics. My school, we are, what is the word? Organ system based. My school, we are organ system based. So brief explanation, there are 2 different, there are probably more than 2, but the ones I know of are 2. There's 2 different ways to learn medical education. There's organ system based, which is where you learn medicine, you learn the basic sciences through organ system. So let's say we started off with musculoskeletal, so you learn everything. You learn the anatomy, the histology, the pharmacology, the physiology, the pathology of that specific organ system. Then you move on to the next one. So my school does that, but other schools do something that's called basic science approach, I think, and essentially they just learn the sciences separately. So they'll learn all of pharm, all of physio, all of path, all of anatomy for each organ systems at once in a course. Or some schools I know of will do histo, anatomy, physio, pharm of everything first year, and then second year will be just path. So there's many different ways that medical education go, but my school, organ system based. So we learned every single subject, like histology, anatomy, physiology, pathology for each organ systems as we went throughout the year. That was so hard. So I will make another video about this another time, but I actually am a year behind in my program. I was supposed to be entering my final year right now, and I'm just entering 3rd year because I failed a course back in 2015, and I will talk about that in another video. But I had finally gotten to the point by the end of my bachelor's where I was like, you know what, I'm smart, I can do this. My grades actually started to reflect the work that I was putting in. I learned how to study, and I was doing pretty well. And then I started medical school, and I was like, wait, do I know how to study? I literally had to sit down and just think about everything I've ever done because it wasn't working. I was so perplexed. So I figured out the issue. It was just that I wasn't doing questions. So I'll make another video. I love how I'm just putting into the world that I'm making all these videos to come, but I'm in dedicated. I don't even have time for this. But anyway, so I failed my first test of M1, and I remember just being devastated. And I was the only, of my friend group, I was the only one who failed. So I was like, but we were all studying together. Like, why? What was it? What did I do wrong? But I immediately bounced back and figured out that I needed to do questions. So the way my school works is that we do customized MBMEs. So the MBME are the people who like write step 1, and they have questions that each school can use to give exams. So that's where my school gets our exam questions from. No one writes our questions for us. And so because that's what the test format we had, I decided that I had to buy a Q bank, and so I bought RX, and then I started doing the questions for RX, and I passed when I retook the test. And from there, I was just passing. I studied, I read my notes, I did all that stuff. And then I always made sure to do my review questions, which I didn't really have to do in undergrad to pass. I could just read through the slides in the textbook and pass. But once I got to medical school, I realized the more questions, the higher your grade. That's just the simple equation of it. So that was a big challenge. And also just the depth of the material. Like, everything was just so different to what we were learning. It made more sense now. It was more interesting because it was actually more like medicine stuff. We were learning diseases and we were learning medications and stuff. But it was just so different and so stressful. Which pushes me into the mental load of it. My mental health actually deteriorated so much during first year medical school. I don't want to talk about it too much in this video because I don't want it to be too long. Also, I don't have a lot of time to film because, like I said earlier, I only take a half day off because it is dedicated. So I don't even know when or if this video is going up. But mentally, starting medical school at 21 was hard. It was hard. I had to take out loans because I didn't have a savings account or anything. And the tuition, even though the tuition for my school is low compared to most other schools, we're about $42,000 a year. That was still too much for my parents to do out of pocket. So I took out all the loans that I could find. All the loans that were given by the school, which was very stressful. I applied for a scholarship to the school, and just the idea of having debt and having to pay all of it back was so stressful. I had to take out credit cards to build up credit. I'm just like, owing money is like, I'm still getting used to the concept because, like, I understand credit cards, I understand loans, I understand mortgages, but just the idea that you owe money was very hard for me. And just bills too. So when I started medical school, I decided to move back to Harlem, closer to the school, so I wouldn't have to commute from my parents' house. And just paying rent with my loans, paying bills. I was on some of the bills, so bills were coming in my name, and making sure everyone paid on time to avoid late fees, and just taking care of the apartment. That was a lot too. You get used to it very quickly. Actually, it's not like it's a hindrance. Like, I'm an adult, I'm 21, so it wasn't really a hindrance, but it was like an adjustment because I had, before starting at M1, I think I had spent a year and a half at my parents' house for the ending of my undergrad. So I just got used to that lifestyle again. So I had to get used to just being on my own again, which was a lot. And I think the one thing that really hit me hard when I started, sorry, I have lots of stuff on my bed behind me. We're not gonna get into that, but those are my vitamins. Starting medical school at 21, it hit me that I was going to be a doctor at 25. That's young. That is so young. I have to be in charge of people's lives at 25. And I'm come to terms with it now because I know I'm going to have the training, and like, I'm going to be more mature in a different headspace. Like, 21 is early 20s, 25 is you're entering your mid 20s. So I'm going to be in a different headspace and I'll be fine. But when I was 21, and I was like, I'm turning 23, so that's why I'm saying when I was 21. But it was so scary. I was like, oh my gosh, that's 4 years. 4 years is high school. High school is so quick. What am I going to do? It was a lot. So just the stress of that was a lot. And then another thing mentally that was a lot is that the standards of the school, like, we're in the same building, we're in the same campus for my program, so it's hard for myself, it was hard to understand the differentiation between undergrad and graduate school, but the school made sure that we knew. So, like, don't be late. Like, obviously you shouldn't be late to lecture, but like, we were both simultaneously treated like adults and children at the same time. It was very weird. But just the standards were different, lectures were different. You don't necessarily have to go to lectures in medical school. I'll make a whole video about like how to study. I would say go just, to save face, because I don't know if it's just my school, but the professors got really upset when people didn't show up. So just go and do some RX or Kaplan questions or something. I wouldn't though, because of other things I would talk about. But other than that, I just became very anxious during M1. I think I'll put this under more mentally and emotionally. I became very anxious. I became anxious around my classmates. I didn't want to go to class. I didn't want to go to small group. And at the time, I didn't notice it as anxiety. I just thought I didn't like anyone. I was just like, I have no friends. But after going through a process, I realized I was just anxious. I was just anxious because, like I said, I failed a class back in 2015. So my original classmates were a year ahead of me. And even though I had been with these classmates for 2 years at that point, starting med school, it just felt really different. I felt like I didn't really have a group. I didn't really know who I could talk to about things. I always felt like I wanted to study with people and didn't know how to ask for it. And I still don't. I felt so disconnected from the class. I always felt like I was other. And everyone was so buddy. So that, it didn't really hit me as hard before, but it really hit me hard in M1 that I felt so alone. So just dealing with that emotionally, and then just the level of the work, it hits you hard. It hits you hard because you're always studying. You have to make you have to understand that when you become a medical student, and even as a college student, but when you become a medical student, really, your job is to be a student. Your job is to study, which gets hard if you're a student that struggles financially, and so you have to work outside of school. I was working outside of school for M1. It wasn't going so well. I was passing, but I wasn't doing as well as I wanted to. Passing at my school was a 70. Most of my exams I got 80s. Some of them I never cracked 90. And I think that was because I was like not putting all my time into studying, because I was working. I was either teaching swim lessons or I was tutoring both at school or outside of school. I was writing papers for people. I was doing a lot just to get some extra money to pay this bill or to buy these groceries or to do stuff. Also, just living near school, like, people forget where I live is still Manhattan. Groceries were so expensive. I'm just like, do I need to eat every meal every day? Do I need to eat every meal every day? Because I also think I was just being bougie with some of my groceries. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I could have gotten regular milk. I mean, actually I couldn't because of my PCOS. I have PCOS. Because of my PCOS, I'm dairy free. But what could I have done without? I don't know. I just felt like I was spending a lot. I was keto at one point. Did not work well for me. Being more plant-based works better for my body. But the time when I was keto was actually first year of medical school. Keto is so expensive. I think that's what really threw my budget off that year. I tried keto without taking that into account in my loans. That blew through so much money. I'm gonna make a video about like finances, because if you're living off of loans, you need to understand you have a negative income. Money only leaves your account, nothing enters. So it's not the time to try keto. It's not the time to try keto. Oh my gosh, I went through so much money. And I felt awful. I don't know. I mean, keto works for a bunch of people. I have a friend who's doing it, and she feels amazing. She looks amazing. So it's working for her. But for me and my body, I just no. What was I saying? I feel so bad. I feel like no one's gonna watch this video because it's just me rambling. If you do watch this video, please comment on what you want to see from me. I want to make videos, but I want to be useful. Like, I don't want to just put out videos that no one wants. I want to be helpful. So ask me. I know that some people had commented on a previous video and asked how they can reach out to me. So I have put my email in the description box below. It's joanna@aol.com. Yes, I still have an AOL because I made it in like middle school. And I still have it. So I decided to just clear it out and make it the YouTube email so that anyone who has any questions for me from YouTube can email that and I will answer. Again, I am undedicated and I only spend, so today is the day I take a half day off, but 6 days a week I'm studying basically from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep, with the exception of 2 to 3, which is the hour when I eat lunch. And like do something else, like I'll do Duolingo or I'll write, or I think those are the only 2 things I do. Yeah. But I will spend that hour now and just respond to emails and comments, because people have questions and because I feel like I should help. I remember just being I was very confused when I applied to college, when I was learning how to apply to these programs. And so I want to be helpful to especially all the high school students who are looking for guidance, who want to be doctors and who don't know how to get there. I definitely want to be there. My older sister is going through the traditional route. So when she's home one day, I will definitely do a video of the pros and cons between a joint program, BSMD, and traditional route, because I think that's a video that has to be made. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this video is not too long. Please comment below, like, share, subscribe. I love you all. Thank you so much for the new people who subscribed. Please ignore my parents in the background. I'm sure you can hear them. I love you all.